So like, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My first Monday lecture of the year, my second year, and thank you for the 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 Joanna Jones's group that organized the lecture, and I've learned so much in this past year. I remember my first one. I was just so nervous and so, and now just the familiar faces like with one, it's just getting more joyful and more joyful to be here doing the Monday lecture. And before I'm gonna share the first here screen, and I just want to just make a short comment on the passage that Phil read on Paul, and to remember, I think he mentioned like it's like every day, be born every day, and opportunity for us to do good and to readjust with the ones maybe we hurt in the past, and also on the end, just for us to remember his words of it's better help today to be helped tomorrow. So, and talking about, we're gonna talk about family and reincarnation. And every day when we are with our family, it's a precious, right, opportunity for us to help the ones around us, and also to learn this. Carl Condivaldo said his family was a laboratory, right? And when anyone that worked in a lab and we can do a lot of experience in a lab and learn a lot. So it was such a nice way he put like the experience that he had and still with his family. I probably not gonna see you guys because I want to put on the presenter view. That will be here. Okay, so I first just want to go to the Spirit spoke on a part with the question 775. What would be the result for society if family ties were relaxed? And I was trying to imagine a society without a family, and I couldn't, because even when the spiritual principle is staged on the animal kingdom, there was already building, right, the groups and building family. But the answer is like a magnification of selfishness, because we all know that when we have a family, we learn to sacrifice, to give, right, some of our time, and that's definitely like exercising charity, right, and empathy, right? So with no family, everyone would just think about themselves, right? And also on the gospel, yeah, what would be, and there is the item reincarnation and family ties. And then said, family ties are not destroyed by reincarnation. They are strengthened and become tighter. Because before, I think for people that still don't have the knowledge of the reincarnation, it must be a suffering to think about, okay, I learned, I loved my family members, and then when they pass away, what happened, right? So for us that already know the Spiritist doctrine and believe in reincarnation, we know that that spirit might be the first time, yeah, like that it being with us, and we learn to love. It's already one more in our spiritual family, right? So reincarnation just make that stronger, and we still go through the pain of separation because we still learning, because we're gonna miss, right, for temporarily, for that loved one that passed away, went back to the spiritual life, which is the I would say true life, because here we are in a school. Let's go, because I think we're going to talk about, and this study, it's from the book of Joanna de Angelis. Like it's Family Constellation. We study this book the whole past year on the Sundays studies, yeah, the family study. And on the chapter 2, it's the title is like a family as a school, right? And she put that just like we in the family, we starting like learn the principle, the family, when we are like the spiritual principle. It's on the stage on the animal kingdom, right? As you see the birds here, the proud dad with the mom. That's first. We have the preservation, that the instinct of the animals develop the instinct of preservation, but also they in the evolutionary process realize that the chances of survival when they meet in groups were bigger than separate, because one support each other and care for each other, right? And she put it here, the family, like it's result of this long, spirit's long evolutionary process, an extensive journey through successive reincarnations. Right? And she also put that the family, it's this, I would say, primary model that through the building all this, exercising all those divine laws in the family, we are building a better society, because we're exercising that at home. And then, for example, if for the parents that pass those moral values for their kids will have the family, but it will also pass on to society. And the fact that we have like so many problems today in our planet, it's because we have problems in a family, right? Because family is not a cell. That if you think about society, a whole body, and family being that cell, and we know when many cells of the body are sick, so the body is not going to be completely healthy and happy, right? And that's what we are going through now in the stage that our planet is now. Okay. And also the fact that, like she said that the foundation, right, to build a society, and this school, and where the spirit has this latent faculties, and they are awake and developed. Right? Because if you think that, like, when we are outside, we don't behave like when we are in with the ones that we love. We usually wear those masks when we go outside. But at home, we are truly what we are with our family. And when those conflicts happen and emotions and disagreements, we are actually exercising, right, that through those conflicts to opportunities to develop virtues, right, or to develop the virtues that we need, or to solve problems that were created maybe in the present incarnation or the previous one. And there's not another way to solve this bug. It's actually getting together and learning and trying to solve those conflicts. And she also point out that people that isolate themselves, for example, some people, they tend to isolate themselves. They get away from family, they get away from everyone, and they live a isolated society. And in some way, it's just postpone, right, the problem, because she made exceptions, which is interesting, like in work, some kinds of like a scientist and like writers, some people that need to sometimes isolate themselves to dedicate to a work, but that's exceptions. And I think sometimes some people in some incarnation, when they want to contribute with society and dedicate like a missionaries, right? I think we saw a lot in the past. They came in that incarnation, and so they don't build a family because their work will take so much from them, and that they postpone for another incarnation. And because it's a sacrifice, right? That you have to sacrifice your time and a lot to raise kids and to build like to care for a family. Okay, the next slide. And question: who are our family, right? Who are my brothers and sisters? Yeah, who are my parents? Yeah, who are these people that I am born? Sometimes people feel dislocated in some family, or there is one who doesn't seem to fit well. The family, it does everything different, and in some way it doesn't correspond to the love of the parents, or it doesn't have this affinity with the group, right? Who are there? Who comes in the family? So Joanna put that the family, it's not only a biological group that lives under the same roof, but the reunion of spirits in the exercise of evolution. And like put, it's a place that should be pervaded by fraternity, so that the sentiment of love there developed may one day spread all over society. Again, it's building, like when we care for the family, when we care for each other, when we exercise the divine moral laws in that family and keep that family together, we are building like this, like passing that to society, example, like of like the, and of what will be a society living in peace. Right? If you have families that there's a lot of aggression and violence inside, and we know there are, and we see in our society how much aggression or violence. So that start in the family, right? Start with with the individuals that instead of working for develop fraternal sentiments, they still repeating the same mistakes of previous incarnations. And it's really nice because she, as the book, né, Family Constellation, she did this comparison about fame as a constellation, right? She put that in the universe, né, perfection in its laws. That there's like stars, planets, satellites, and asteroids. And she compare the family as constellation, like the biggest stars will be the ones, for example, the parents, that will use the biggest stars, and the as a like I forgot the name, when we have like a big planet, they attract, right, the smallest one. I forgot the name in astronomy for a object, but it's not that. And it's so nice to compare. For instance, sun. Let's put the here the example that to clarify. The sun, it's the biggest star. The planets, it's the kids that are attract with the sun. It's the biggest star. And she put out also the others, the satellites, let's say the moon, others that come, and then the kids. So she compared a universal law with the same that happens in the family. Yeah. And I will show you the parents are the largest stars, whose gravitational pull brings the children close as planets, orbiting around them. Similarly, the future satellites that will surround them are attracted by ties of affection, bringing together the descendants in one way or another. It's interesting how, I don't know how the similarity of the universal laws applies in many aspects, right? Of a family as a constellation, and even the universe. Yeah, there is so much that we can learn looking at the divine laws and having this pay attention on the details and how everything works. Right? So on the other part of the book that she put it, that it is a family, that this family constellation. It's a transient experience in the process of human spirit evolution. Things temporary because of those that compose it, coming from different groups, but all of them in need of inner growth and enlightenment. Upon the completion of the spirit, it tends to become perennial in the memory of its members. Once we, all those family members, everyone that were family, we pass through that incarnation, that will be in a larger family. It happens that maybe one or another, it will take more incarnations, or will be united with the ones they have more affinity. But the ones that have that bond, strong bond together, they will come back in other incarnations to reuniting forces with each other to help the other ones that still in need of support, and in many times reuniting forces to help the ones we hurt in the past. Because when we read all those books of Andrea Luiz, we see one good example. I always come to my mind his mom, Andrea Luiz's mom, that she was reincarnating again after she disincarnated, and see that Andrea Luiz that is still struggling on the lower zones with two of the women that he had a relationship when he was incarnated. And in an act of such a compassion, because she was more elevated spirit, and she decided to come back, to reincarnate it, help his father, being his wife again, but receiving his those two women that they were connected by wrongdoings in the past, are her daughters. So it's an act of love to help not only the ones that it was already part of the family, but helping the others that her husband did the wrongdoings, right? So what about the parents? And that include not only the biological, anyone exercising, let's put this way, the parenthood at the moment, right? Because we know there is not only adopted, but aunts that and aunts that and many others, and even grandmothers that and grandparents that are exercising, like raising, right, kids. So it's interesting she put like the parents now relive the immense joy that comes from the opportunity of having received in the arms of affection spirits of very orange, friends of yesterday or opponents of previous eras, right? And the blessing, right? Like she said, that you always have this should thank God for the joy of having been able to fulfill the acceptance commitment with love and self-denial, even if the outcome is not exactly what expected. because I think a lot of, I am a parent, and I think a lot of the parents, when have difficult, have expectations, right? Create a lot of expectations for their children, and when they don't see the children are on the path they expected, they feel that they are doing something wrong or something it's missing. But she's going to speak more about that. We should always remember that each spirit is responsible for one's own destiny, and no one but oneself has the means to modify one's own course. Because each of a child that God gave to those parents to guide and to educate, it's an individual with their own destiny, and have like maybe path that we don't know, and they have the free will to. So we always it's important that to keep this in mind, and how a parent should keep in mind, like what are the tools that Joanna give to the parents. What is important, that the moral, right? To educate the moral, and definitely by not only saying, but by example. It's the best way to show, to educate. Mental clarity, no, I don't, to be, the way I understand is like you pass on. If I say no double, I would say no double standards. If I tell my kids that, oh, don't yell, but when I talk with them, I yell, so that will be very confusing, right? And so we need to do our best to keep those guidance in mind. Affective emotion, right? Always like being sensitive to their emotions, and with lots of love, and do not measure efforts and sacrifice for positive results. Always working for positive results, even though you think that is not like it's hard, because like I said, like we create a lot of expectations sometimes can frustrate. So it's just important to follow this conscience, like that we are fulfilling our duty, right? To give this model, thinking that we also are not perfect, and forgive ourselves when we do something wrong, and try to correct ourselves, and be humble, because that's also will show our child the example of being humble, and that everyone can make mistakes, because we are learning here together. And what it is, just want to talk about the expressions of happiness. What happiness, it comes in a wide range of expressions, because our society maybe has one idea of happiness, and maybe our kids have a different one, or we have a different one, but how we measure, right, what when someone in our family is happy. And then she bring this up, that we should keep this in mind. Like it's not always relevant social position, artistic or cultural, political or religious projection, and prominent accumulated financial assets that represent happiness for all individuals. This is model, it's more commercial, say, or more like a material model, and there are like people are in so different. Each individual, it's so unique. Not everyone needs to wants projection, social projection, or not everyone will be happy being a CEO of a big this is a big company, right? So it just really keep in mind that there are, especially with parents, there are some successful people that go through the path of maybe social position or the political, or accumulating a lot of material wealth to fulfill this model, but they are very unhappy, and they suffer, like in silence, and hide the happiness that they feel, and many times it's very important, because many parents pass that value, right, for for that you will be happy or successful if you have this proeminent position, which there's nothing wrong to prominent positions or not, if that spirit, it really wants that and use those talents in a noble way to help others to develop. And we need, of course, we have a lot of important people and wealthy people that creates a lot of progress for society. It's not nothing wrong, as but this is not the only model. It's not the one model for everyone, right? And some, they just happy with a simple life and doesn't have that ambition to go and to create, to accumulate a lot of wealth, or maybe shine, and wants just thinks that for many people don't see a success or see a happiness, and many of those people, they actually help a lot and creates a lot and give a lot to society. And what we do when we have this feelings of failure, right? And again, Joanna come and said that we should never, right, to take the others like a suffering and in the place of the other, and to consider oneself a failure because one's children do not reach the goals that were established for them through the zeal and devotion of the parents. We don't know many times how maybe what we consider a failure, it's not a failure, because maybe that spirit is being actually have so many very difficult past experience, that what we see as what we see as a failure actually it is a work in progress inside the mind and the heart of that spirit. And like the time we want things immediate, like, and we need to think that, okay, I have my conscience that I am trying my best and fulfilling, and I'm persevering, not never give up, right? And always assisting that spirit that, in my view, it's not responding the way I consider like that it's consider like being progressing, but that's actually not, it's a very complex, right, that particular inquiry. But if you, the parents, it's doing the right thing, you just keep doing, because each one of us has their own time, right, to uh, solve their own problems. And again, we have limits, right? We and we still learning too, and that's a very consoling message, actually, that no one is able to surpass their own limits, and we have many limits in life, but the patient that there are things that you will take many incarnations to solve. And the blessing of nothing is lost, right? All the investments in love, every work that we do, it's there. It's in the mind, it's in the heart. And sometimes that all those teachings, they will emerge maybe later in the same incarnation, or even and after the incarnation, we don't know. Spirit, each one of us has the free will, but that's a reason for never giving up and think that oh, I'm trying really hard and try, but there is that conflict. It can, but it could be kids, but it can be relationships and parents or siblings or any the family members, right? What we have to keep in mind, and just to do our duty without the expectation. If it's coming, it's beautiful, but it might take time, right? And investment, like you said, in love, never lost. Okay, almost done. And again, she talked about just to be careful, right? Those triumphs, what are, because parents love that to brag about the kids and oh, your child and this is a success, or it's a plus student and went to Harvard and all that. That's amazing, and it is amazing that when people do that, but it doesn't mean that someone that did not go to Harvard, or that live in choose a different path, it's not triumph. Just you should really be careful to respect each one's choice and path. And I find this really beautiful that she said that there are many children who are unable to achieve external victories, but manage to inscribe in their inner selves the lessons of love and solidarity, of family and affection. They live at home, work in favor of the new spiritual side of the planet in a silent way. So just to keep in mind that there is a way to really progress in the society, but like she said, in more just in what every day that spirit is contributing. And I think this is my last slide, just to remind you that the constellation and the family constellation, like it's like a set of stars in the celestial dome, is an important part, right, of the immense spiritual galaxy under the command and kindness of our divine creator. And that's the purpose, right, to be only one family, but let's care for the ones that are next to us first. So this is the book that I studied, that I for preparing. Sorry that I'm a little bit over the time, and I will do the final prayer. Let me put here